Hey guys, it's Time for Tech here, and today I'm coming with a video about programming. So basically I'm going to have a series about Hello World in a programming language. So I'll start off with C, since that's one of the most important and well-known programming languages, and then I'll move on from there going to C++, Swift, Python, and many other programming languages. And I'll just be explaining what the code does, how efficient it is, and what type of experience you need to use the programming language. Some are easier to learn than others, some need more amounts of code for one program than others, and some are just overall cleaner and neater than all the others. So C is the main programming language you'll find for making almost everything. Your laptop, YouTube's programmed in C, most of it. It also uses Python. So you'll find many things using with C. So let's get on with the first line. So the first line, hashtag include stdio.h, means it includes standard IO. So the IO is the input and output. So when it says standard, it's just the baseline input and output of C. That's why you have include, say, to mention that it includes it. The .h is just the header file, so that's everything you need in C program. So now let's go to int main. Int main, you won't always see the int in it. Sometimes you could just see the main, and it's not really wrong, but it's just good practice to put the int next to the main, just so that it's easier and more compact in terms of easier to understand. Because if a coder comes over and sees it, they'll be able to understand it a lot easier than without the int. So we've got the parentheses, curly brackets. Those hold the block of code together. You'll need many of those if you have a long program. It's just to show where your code is in and out. Some prefer to use more than others, and some just don't prefer to use a lot at all. So now the main part that prints everything. Printf is used in C. Other languages have just print, but that's printf. So the normal brackets there just hold the text in, and this is called a string. A string is anything that contains text in it, and it always has to have the speech marks, always. So obviously you don't have to just put hello world. You'll have other text in there as well. If you're making a game, you obviously have to have text and many other things that you'll need text for. Just even a basic calculator app, you'll need the digits. So you'll always need to know printf. At the end, there is a semicolon. The semicolon has to be there. It's one of those small details that most people make mistakes on. But if you miss out the small curly bracket, you'll get an error and your code will not run. So next line, we've got return 0. Return 0 also, as the int, isn't always in the code. But again, if you have a longer program, you'll see errors in there that you will not really want to see. And for this, it'll be fine. You might not see errors. Some compilers will let you see errors. And if you take the return 0 off, it'll be fine for the hello world, but for the bigger programs you'll need it because you'll find errors. So again, it's just good practice to keep everything in there as the code. So this is a low-level language, which means it's quite similar to like the normal computing code. So it looks less like English. There's one Python Hello World program that is just extremely basic, and I'll obviously do a video of that in the coming few days. And this means it's a low-level language because it looks less like English. The higher you go, the more it looks like English. So C, C++, C#, Objective-C, these languages, Visual Basic, they don't look like English. That's why you have to really focus when you're typing the code, because it doesn't look like English at all. And that's what makes C quite a difficult language to learn, but you could get the hang of it. I've been doing C for around 2 years now, and I still haven't got like the complete hang of it, but it is okay, and you'll start to gradually get better at it. C, if you learn C, you can start any other language with a sort of head start, because C is the basis of all programming languages. Some you'll think are different. For me, like Swift, it's similar to Objective-C, but they've changed parts out of it, and Objective-C is different to C, so it wouldn't be that similar. So yeah, that's the C Hello World program, and C++ is quite similar to this, so you'll definitely see similarities. If you see any C Hello World program, it written differently, if it just has the same text, it's not really a big problem, because some people like to write their code differently. So you could even have Hello World like this, you could have it like this, you could have it even like this, and it will still work. I'm using an online editor because Xcode's going a bit crazy at the moment, and yep, the program is working. Hello World. So whatever way you see it written, it's okay. Most people like to write it the standard way because that is just the main way people write code. And you can use any compiler for this, so you don't need to use Xcode. If you've got Windows, you can use a compiler there, or an online compiler like I'm using. Xcode's just the Mac version, so it's for Mac. If you've got Ubuntu, you can use Eclipse. Eclipse is an open platform, so there are many compilers you can use. And obviously, if you can't do that, just use an online one. So if you like this video about this Hello World in C, please leave a like and subscribe. Also leave feedback down below whether you want to see this continue.